Hinkley collection presentation, but this is this is a favorite, I think, of designers. Some very unique pieces. And Hinkley landscape lighting. This is continues to grow for us. We just had a new catalog that debuted just a few days ago, so it's hot off the press. I had some ships down here. Expanding our LED offerings there with some really cool new bollards and great things for commercial applications.
I'd love this to be a very interactive sort of discussion, because we are, as Kim said, trying to determine, how do you choose your client's lighting? What decisions are made regarding style, broken down into, what decisions in terms of perception, how the lighting is perceived in the overall scheme of the project. Is it something that is chosen, in the initial, along with the furniture, finishes, whatever, or is it sort of an afterthought? We'd really like to sort of move towards lighting being a primary decision. So we're kind of looking for your feedback in terms of what you factor into your decision-making product when you're working with your clients. Some questions regarding style, in terms of, you are the ones who are really out there in the field looking, how do you decide which trends have actual legs and staying power, versus which are flashes in the pan? In terms of our brand, we would love to know how familiar you are with Hinkley, not only with Hinkley, but also with Frederick Raymond within Hinkley, and what your impression of us is with, with regards to our competitors. We kind of play a word association game sometimes. If you're looking forward to something, what would bring Hinkley to your mind? What kind of things bring Frederick Raymond to your mind? Or if they don't at all, what can we do to change that perception?
So do you guys have any kind of gut feelings about Hinkley when does it usually come from the client, or is it your knowledge of a lighting company that drives that?
I can say from my perspective, I'm really familiar with Hinkley, and I've used it a good bit. And it's been fun, I think, to see the product evolve from when I first started using it, like over 10, 12 years ago. So I think for me, I typically spec all the lighting for the project, so it's probably one of my go-to. I mean, we combine a lot of different sources, but Hinkley is typically in the mix.
And what is it about, whether it's Hinkley or someone else, that you look for? Is it the range of product? Is it the ease of dealing with us? Or
I would say it's the range of product relative to the project. Depending on the scope of the project and what the project looks like and the end result is going to look like, and because I think it's hard to get everything from one source. So and there's other designers here who can probably attest to that. So you're always kind of combining things. So.
There are a few words that come to your mind when you hear Hinkley. Is there a style or a quality or a
quality? Absolutely.
High quality. So
yeah, high quality. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Any style jump out at you, or is it wide? Or
I would say previously I felt like it was very, very traditional. I feel like you guys very conservative. Yeah, I think you guys have made a really nice push to make it much more designer friendly and more interesting. And I think you've introduced some things that I think as designers we're always looking for something different, fresh, different. Yeah.
For our firm, it was more of a price point for Hinkley. If we had a budget project, we would go to Hinkley, and the styles were very, very safe. Yeah. Let's say that.
That's a good point.
And I'll definitely say conservative. Mm-hmm. And I really love how you guys have evolved and you've gotten more current, and even a little pushing the envelope. I'd love to see you push it more because I love your brand. It's just really way too conservative. It has been for a lot of our projects, so we really haven't used you as much as we've been using you more and more because you have been addressing that. And the finishes as well, like a polished nickel. you know, that's a big go-to, I think, in South Florida. And, I see you guys moving in that direction, but my clients like unique. They come to us for unique. They don't want safe. They don't want run of the mill. They want wow factor. So your luxury brand would be something we would consider more than Hinkley. Hinkley would be, you used to be.
Right.
Now your outdoor stuff, I think is great. I think you guys have really hit a good track there, yes, yeah, and that, I see that even as more aggressive than your indoor circumstances. I mean, that's fantastic.
It's interesting to hear from you guys because I've been repping for 10 years. You know, when I took on the line 10 years ago, there were 2 families that would sell in South Florida, and that was it.
Bola, and what was the other?
Bola, plantation.
Plantation, sure, right.
That was it. That was his house.
So, do you want to hear also about Raymond as well at the same time, Kim, or go?
Yeah, sure, that's,
So
that's
is-
fine, we don't need to keep them separate, I mean,
So is, Heather, is that, are you familiar with Raymond as well? And would you consider that sort of like the brand that Hinkley should use, or Hinkley brand should use to push the envelope? I mean, is that where you see it, Kim? It's sort of the higher end, it's a higher price point.
It's sort of an internal discussion too, because there's,
Right.
you know, certain collections that we'll be launching, and there'll be a conversation, does this fit in, you know, is this more Hinkley or is this more Raymond? So we really need to, you know,
I mean, I would say at this point, Raymond is more the sort of wow factor, pushing the envelope,
and where we
something
can,
that,
to your point, where we can get more expensive with,
Mhm.
you know, the product, and if the style's right, people will buy it. I think that was something they maybe held back a little bit, you know, always wanting to make sure we were offering the right price point, but, you know, the different research and focus groups we've done with the consumer even, if
They
the
like it,
style's there, the money is
they'll-
not an
right.
object.
Mhm.
So,
If they
which
don't
I'm sure
like
you
it, the
guys
money's
know.
an issue. If they
Right.
like it, they'll go
Right.
quadruple over the budget
Yeah.
if they love it.
Right.
Scale, I'd like to talk about scale too. You guys, you know, are always very conservative with your scale, I felt. And, you know, scale is all about oversized, bigger is better, statement, you know, so I would like to see you guys even go grander with your scale. That would draw me and my clients. So I don't know how aggressive designers feel.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the new home construction here, we're dealing with, you know, 24-foot ceilings and just
And
big
we have
facades that are
proportions.
huge.
Yeah, so if you're larger scale,
Yes.
when you put it up
Even
on a
outdoor.
20-foot ceiling, they shrink down to
Right.
microscopic. And then you have to buy multiples and then, you know, to even make it work. So it's just something to think about with your design program, is scale. I think you guys are really conservative on that where you could expand more.
And are you finding that, I mean, we've always had that complaint or request of our vendors, because Florida is different than our Jersey market, because the scale is bigger. We have 24-foot ceilings almost in just about every new home, where that's not the case in New Jersey. They'll have the center hall, but then the rest of the home. How unique is the Florida market with that request for scale?
Oh, but can I add to that scale?
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
sorry, before she answers that. We also like it to, we want it all, of course. Surface fill. So if we can do that without any attachments, can we do that same fixture stuck on the ceiling
Mhm.
sometimes because of height
Right.
constraints? Just that versatility, if we can just unscrew that rod, which I can do it anyways, we all take it to our converters and we have it converted, we take your piece and we convert it. If you guys were to offer that, I think that's a huge advantage that you guys could offer that other companies don't offer.
So turn just about every fixture into a flush or a semi-flush, just,
That, I mean, it's
Have
just,
the
I
option.
mean, what would it take internally to just be able to unscrew that nipple or whatever and just pop that off and put the little shorty in and now it's a flush mount. So,
And I would say when it comes to scale, offering more in transitional or more modern, that's overscaled, as opposed to the typical, what you find that's overscaled, which is very traditional.
Yeah, everybody's
And
got
just-
that, that's,
Mhm.
there's
Yeah.
endless, and now with,
Yeah.
you know, with China, it's ridiculous,
Mhm.
so.
I mean, I guess from my standpoint, I find this fascinating conversation, because we always like to go to the vendors and say, what are they looking for? Because it's sort of, a lot of the contemporary pieces that I've seen are sort of minimalistic.
Right. Yeah.
So, but what I'm hearing both of you say is that has its place. Yet we still need large scale. So, I mean, is that a bunch of fixtures put together? Because that's a custom, right? I mean,
This was actually in our Dallas showroom,
That's
and
awesome.
it's our Folsom collection, so we just wanted to do something fun and almost an art
The
installation.
mixed finish is awesome too.
And put it together. It's not available for sale, but
Oh.
there's just something.
Of course.
everything is.
We are working on
I
this.
ordered that today.
Everything is available for sale.
We had quite a few orders for it in Dallas, so we're working on that. Megan's working on that.
Yes, well, I mean, our designers, I mean, we had such a fabulous response to this, that it sort of opened our eyes to, you know, I mean, we've been hearing on and off the larger scale, but really the response to this was like, oh my gosh, you know, we really do need something that is large and, you know, and overwhelming.
The wow
look. The wow factor, exactly, like an art installation piece. And-
Right.
Sculptural,
Yeah,
a
sculptural,
sculptural
Right.
focal point in the space. That
Right.
is what our lighting, opportunities are for our clients.
And something to expand on that was fun in the showroom, we had in the front, it's something to think about, we had a cluster of the Gemma series, you know, all dropped down, so sometimes you can take those different sizes, cluster them to give the appearance and the illusion of a larger fixture. How fun is that? Just want to make reference to, we opened up our commercial division this last year, and it's more hospitality because we're still decorative and residential. And
We have our catalog there for that too.
so I just wanted to touch on that really quick, and it's funny, as some of you are doing commercial projects as well as residential, and some architects, and so we're getting a lot more requests. We did hear about the larger fixture, so we are on board with that. You are spot on, good job. So we're gonna come out not only for residential but commercial, and being that we're so decorative, we can do it in both channels. So we'll still be your one-stop shop to get all the different needs that you need for all your different customers. So I just wanna make sure we.
No, I think
You
that's
know,
a
we're
great
on it.
point,
Good
and
point.
that's something that is a positive for Hinkley is we are decorative, so we have all of that at the ready. It's just translating it into these larger, because I feel like I mean, it's contemporary out there's a zoo for that, you know, that's everywhere, but we have the ability to change some of these.
What is your custom capability? If somebody did say, I want that, and it would go to the commercial part of the,
Yeah.
I think it really, I mean, I don't know. I would ask Joel or the designer or Jared.
I'll be more than happy.
Yes.
We're not there yet.
Okay.
Perfectly candid.
no, that's,
Now, where we are
Yeah.
today is, of course, for energy efficiency, LED, we can convert current outdoor products, you know, stuff like that for your needs there, GU24. But when it comes to a decorative fixture right now, we are not there yet on the customization. We can make some slight changes on it, on the bottom, things like that. It's high on the priority list because we understand specification. I was in that world before this job. Hospitality requires the customization. So we're gonna work on that to try to expand. Right now, we're just trying to get the brand out there and let them know that, hey, if you have a project and you need 50 quantity or 100 quantity of an outdoor or flush, or we can provide that at a better quality and a pretty competitive price point. So I think we're aligned here. I'm gonna go back and ask a quick question about Frederick Raymond because this is something we battle all day long. We have it in our catalog, it kind of in the middle there, and we have differentiated it, so it's actually brought, people wouldn't think about it probably, because it was such a small line when we bought it a few years ago. So it has opened the book to the category. We talked about separating it out and having it stand on its own, and now that we have commercial, you know, more specification design, maybe it would. Probably, I don't know, do you feel we have enough in the Frederick Raymond line to stand on its own? Should we fold it into Hinkley? Should we just give it another name, or should we just leave it alone? Any thoughts about Frederick Raymond as far as where it belongs, or?
I don't know, I mean, I guess from I mean, you're marketing, but it almost seems like you would wanna separate it out and make it very special and make it, and that would create its elevated status, so that it was like, oh, this is the higher.
Yeah, it's a distinctive brand.
You already have
Yeah.
a brand,
Yeah.
why lose it?
Yeah, and it already has that image, that it's more.
The
And
one,
I think develop it further.
Okay.
Because right now, I kind of see Hinkley moving in that direction where it's kind of maybe blurring a little bit
So
of
it's
overlap.
crossing. You see some crossing.
Right, I see some interlacing there. So I like the comment that it's already branded.
Right.
But I see it losing, right now, as it stands today, my opinion is I see it losing its uniqueness as you guys move, I see you guys moving, Hinkley moves more towards it, so.
Gotta make a
a
decision.
separate brand that
Right.
people know already.
Right.
We already know Frederick has some fun, different, unique, playful things as
So-
compared with who Hinkley used to be.
Can I ask if,
That's a tough one.
between both Hinkley and Frederick Raymond, do you guys have architects and artists as designers, or you have lighting designer, or you have a fixture designer?
Or the same designers doing both.
Or the same designer doing both? Because being on the architectural side, most of our houses are fairly demanding in terms of the architecture aspect of it when we are working with them. And when they get to the designer, interior designer, then they have a shot at, you know, making the space, you know, pretty any way they want it. But we cannot get to that point if we don't have good lighting to start with. And most people come in and they would say, we want that space to be well lit first. So the space comes first, and then once we provided the space with the light, whether it's hi-hats or LEDs or whatever, but then when they go to the designer, then the designer kind of open their eyes up a little bit.
It could be like a layer, an additional layer of.
Right.
or-
But the key, what I'm trying to get at is, at our phase, we would show both your brands, you know, the two brands, and they wouldn't look at it. And the reason for that is because at this phase, at the early phase, they are looking at a piece of art. Because most of our houses are either in the 10 or $15 million, so they want everything to be a piece of art, like the wow factor. So what I'm wondering is if you have like an architect, trained architect, or an artist in-house that would make these beautiful pieces that just pop. And then right there, eventually they will water down to the rest of the
They'll lead 'em
typical
there.
stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
It's interesting that you should say that. In the last 8 months or so, the Lux community has seen such a growth in the architectural aspect of lighting consultants, where they got their architectural license because it's beginning at the bones and the DNA of the house, the mood, the aspect of that. So I find it interesting. How does that merge into Hinkley? How do you get the architectural intellect, is the best way I can think of it,
To build it in.
to build it in,
early on, you know?
because a lot of times what we're saying is that it's the pulse of the home. How do you benefit from that? And we've seen an enormous growth in lighting consultants and architectural lighting. So that's all I've noted.
And probably driven by the sophistication of lighting in general, right?
I'm
It's
sure.
gonna get more complicated, it's gonna get more
Yeah.
technical,
Now
and we're gonna have to be able to see our.
temperatures and
Yeah.
matching it back to the existing incandescents, and well, yeah, right, 10,000.
Do we have, one more, I'm sorry, do we have enough in Frederick Raymond to stand on its own today?
I would think so.
I think so.
It's a lot to
Something to
choose
be
from
said
to
for
begin with. They just need a
Yeah.
couple that will pop, but there's a lot to choose from.
I mean, I could totally see how it could, I mean, I'm speaking out of both sides of my mouth here, I could see how it could roll into one though, I mean, and I know, I get it about the bottom line and expenses and, you know, separate architects and designers for the one brand and versus the other. And just to expound, I like the architectural comments because architects, a lot of times will approach a project in a beautiful rectilinear way that a
Exactly.
designer might not. I think we are really super at softening the lines. And I love how the architects often ring true to that. And that marriage of the two just creates such amazing uniqueness and beauty that I'd love to see the architects still be a part of that development, because those hard edges are, I think they're great.
For the architect, finally.
No,
very well
It's all
said.
about you today.
If you come to our office, I'll do it.
Yeah, so.
Yeah,
Thank you, I was, good stuff, thank you.
yeah.
Well, it might be a good time then to move into some of our more specific products. So just discussion of our existing products. We'll go on to, here's one of our top sellers at the January market called the Asher Collection. You're just seeing more of streamlined chandelier, not as neat, but still with a lot of a luxe type of feel.
And I think when we look at these new collections too, and the responses, when they're released, you know, we're thinking towards, is this something that would be successful in another finish or different sizes, or, you know, what are we doing right with product and what needs to be expanded? So, you know, any comments on things that you see that, you have opinions, you know, right or wrong, we'd love to see that, because we're always evaluating, you know, do we need, is this something that should be in a Kalashnikov or in a, you know,
You want opinions on this particular family?
Sure, yes, anything.
Deborah, yeah.
I definitely like different finishes,
Uh-huh.
because when I see a piece that I love, if it's not gonna be the finish that's going with the decor that we're using, then the client is really disappointed. And then the search begins all over again.
How many? Like, I mean, everybody's coming out with gold and then the silver leaf. Like, those are the two
Yeah.
major ones. Is that enough?
You know what, there's what do they call it, the white gold, I think is what they call it, the snow gold or something finish?
Silver.
Winter, that's it,
gold.
winter
I know
gold,
the
winter
difference.
gold, winter gold,
Yeah.
yeah, see, I love that
I believe it's a
finish.
winner.
Mm-hmm.
I love that finish.
That would make sense for Cleveland.
I mean, realistically, how many finishes can Hinkley make in a fixture series like this that makes sense for you guys?
Well, here's the other thing that on that note, going back to, I know how difficult it is to do, you know, custom, because we do, most of our projects are all about custom. So I am very versed in the custom world, and it's tough, it's really tough. And especially when they're one-offs, you know, and like the client can't see it and touch it, and then, you know, you kill yourself so they're not disappointed. So you get that 1% disappointment factor. It's like a knife in my heart, but it's brutal. So my question relating to that background preamble is, could the frames be custom finished? So let's say you offer 2, maybe 3 finishes. Is there an opportunity in your company, and maybe there's not, you can custom finish this in the winter gold?
And I will tell you, we kind of yes and no, but typically we'll come out with 2 or 3 pieces of a family at market. Test it out, see how the response is. And then again, it's typically in one finish, so if it does well, we will hear, wow, I'd love to see that. So
Right.
that you will see the extension of the family come out with a different finish. We had 2 or 3 of them in January that we did
Right.
very well with. And these have been in the family for years. We just came out with that lighter finish and bam, it's a whole new
Yeah.
product. So it comes, but it usually comes at the next cycle, I think,
Okay.
in market, is that right, introduction?
Yeah.
Because we hear enough
Several of those
feedback,
for June,
it's
yeah.
6-month period, we can get it out, you know, in the next 6 months. So that's kind of where we capture that.
So it's going back to the custom. If you're able to build that custom capability to get it done in 4 to 8 weeks,
Right.
as opposed to 6 months,
Understand, you bet.
That would be-
Then that's a
We
winner.
can sell 6 months, we can sell 12 months.
can you?
We can.
Right.
We just need the option.
Well, that's important for them to know.
Yeah, and
For
the
these bigger-
time is usually not a factor with us. If they love it, and
They'll
they'll
wait.
They'll
Wait.
wait for it.
They'll
They
wait.
will. They'll pay for it and they'll wait for it.
Right.
And we can sell them to wait for it.
Right.
Oh, shoot. Oh, my biggest frustration is seeing a beautiful fixture in oil rub bronze, and I don't have a silver option. You know, you can work with oil rub bronze with the golds, now the golds are coming in, but if they don't have some kind of silver finish, you know, be it a brushed, a satin, or polished, we can't use it, it kills us. Because it's
Can I ask if, you see a lot of clients that just want to match with the building or the architecture or the windows? Do you have any of that?
Never.
Or-
Not usually,
You don't have
I
that?
don't think ever.
unique in the
Do they want
space.
like pure white? Anything like that?
We do get the ones that want white, but not as much as you would think if you're matching to the mullions and such. Is that what you're talking about, the window frames? Not so much.
Not so much?
Yeah. I mean, like, the older buildings will have the bronze
Right.
frames. We don't ever get anybody wanting to match to that.
Right.
Is that, do you guys, other
Yeah,
designers
no.
feel that way?
Absolutely, no, typically. we-
Almost never. I've never really had anybody say, we need to match to the window
How about
frames.
the drywall finish or something like, because we're moving into doing a lot of ultra modern contemporary look, and I would love to show these, and they like, do you have something that would disappear into the background? And I was like, how am I gonna do that?
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah,
Often that's
then we'll
what
pick a
cuts
white
down.
fixture,
Yeah.
we'll pick a white
Right.
fixture.
Or glass or something.
Right.
But, I mean, we've even gone so far as to take a fixture that was in a finish that we didn't really like, but we loved the fixture, and we've had it redone locally.
Yeah.
Whether that be replating it or
That's what we do,
painting
we
it, or
refinish it.
we refinish it, and that's just part of the mix, and we
Yeah.
just, and then we really call it kind of custom to the
Absolutely.
client.
Okay, yeah, I mean, that might,
I mean, it's not our,
For-
it's not ideal.
for the
but-
near term, that's a solution.
Yeah,
Before,
but-
before Hinkley has their custom capabilities already
right,
built out.
Exactly.
And it does happen that your fixture is absolutely perfect, and that's when we
Yeah.
do it. It's like, we're not gonna let them know it doesn't come with the finish.
Exactly,
And we just
exactly.
refinish it for them, and here it is.
Yeah.
We
Perfect.
did that in our showroom one time, we painted a
Yeah.
couple chandeliers in the back, like a teal
Yeah,
blue,
like
and
teal.
everybody was like,
Absolutely.
can I get that? And we were like,
Absolutely.
really?
It's
a canvas you're spot on, yeah.
If you build it, they will come.
Yes.
We were talking about bronze. This is also a new release from January that was very well received. It has a lot going on with it, very organic kind of thing, and crystals.
And on,
Go ahead. Well, it's just price point wise, this is gonna be a step up, right, than from the Hinkley. So it's gonna be a more cutting edge style, a higher price. Frederick Raymond, perhaps.
What finishes does this come in besides the bronze?
Right now, just the bronze, but we are introducing it in silver leaf.
Nice. On this note, before you even went to this slide, I was gonna talk about or ask, but the natural crystals are huge with my clients right now. And the fact that you have, the gemstone look here, I think that's really great. And I don't know if you guys are introducing any of that with the natural crystals as part of the
Like rock
organization.
crystal?
Yeah, like the rock.
Any of
Rock
that.
crystals coming back?
Yeah.
We're seeing
Rock
a
crystal,
lot of
rose
agate.
crystal, whatever, agate,
Yeah.
oh yeah, huge.
It's huge.
Yes,
Yes.
we're investigating
Huge,
that right
huge,
now.
huge.
We have a couple of families in development right now that are, that have some of the agate and then also the big chunky crystal.
Right.
Yeah.
Which we saw a lot of yesterday
Yeah.
with
We
the.
saw a
I
lot
see
of
the
high
Frederick
points,
Raymond
a lot of-
moving and
Yes.
addressing that in their price point.
Mhm. Cynthia, are you seeing a lot of this as well? Like that move to natural elements, rock crystal?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, just want to see if this is a trend or.
And the designers are sort of addressing it as a sort of lighting as jewelry. I mean,
Yes.
it's,
Jewelry for the home.
That's really the
Exactly.
next one. This is crystal also, but just much more sophisticated, rectangular crystals. And this was originally in bronze, correct?
Yes.
So this is new in the silver leaf, and it really has it looks completely different.
Mhm.
It's-
And that was exactly a fixture. And no offense, but a lot of people do this look with this crystal, laid side by side. And I remember that fixture, that it only came in the bronze color, and in South Florida, it's just now in this era, it's a no-go.
Can I make a specific comment on that fixture? Is there a way to get rid of the top plate and the chain and the wiring? Because I do have a lot of comments coming in, I don't
What,
want
do
to
the
see
rod
anything.
instead?
I
Or
want
just
to.
fix it to the ceiling?
Yeah, literally
Yes,
full
filter
on.
coming out of the ceiling. That was addressing my earlier
Wait,
comment, either.
would it start at the ceiling, or would it be connected by some
You can
quiet?
make it float magnetically for all I need.
No,
There's
but,
the architect.
but it has to be connected by thin cable.
Something,
So almost
somehow.
semi-float.
Just a thin
Right.
cable
Mhm.
Oh,
floating in
okay,
space.
well,
Because
And
They don't wanna see the chain and the
Yeah, we have
wiring.
clients that would spend $1
It looks
million
inferior.
on the doors and the windows,
Yeah.
and they are willing to spend $100,000 on something that they love. And that little piece there, I just could not convince them to go for it because I don't want to see that chain. I don't want to see that plate. You know? So,
Sometimes our clients, they don't like the chain, so we convert the pieces with rods.
Mhm.
You know, or like I was saying earlier, we'll do it as a surface mount. I'll have it converted so that it's a surface mount, so they don't see the canopy or the chain or.
And this'll probably get easier to do as we get more and more LED because the voltage that has to go through the wire and the amperage is going to go less. So you don't need that thick, 12 gauge wire there any longer.
It's always the trick how to hide that wire. They hate that wire. And if it's not straight with the other things, they're like.
Right.
Right. But you will be able to, like the tech pendants that run off the thin cable that runs the 12 volt. I don't know if you're able to have that done by
by
June
June.
market.
June's
More
done.
chain on this slide, sorry. But this is a, nice example of, again, larger scale, which we were talking about, and the mix of the finishes.
Yeah.
That's a good looking picture.
Gorgeous.
Orb's still big? Orb's the Orb style that's not going anywhere soon?
We're still working with it. Does this come in a polished nickel?
And
On either one of those?
Similar fixture.
But two of our other families do.
This just came out in January, so it's been
Gorgeous.
right,
Love the bulb
huge.
shape, that's huge right now.
Yeah.
But the Edison bulb has just exploded with everybody, with us, with our clients.
They actually just came out with an LED version of the nostalgia bulb.
I've seen it. I know what you're talking about. Starts with an S.
Is that, yeah?
A little more Florida.
Except there's
Yeah. What's the scale of that? It
like
looks,
24.
What, the previous orb or this orb?
This one.
I mean, do you feel this, something along this line fits the sort of contemporary or transitional, or has it been done? It's been, would something like this be worth translating into a different silhouette? One trend that we're seeing still have legs, and let me know if you think so, is like geometrics, in all, it's like reinterpreting over and over different, and it just keeps getting more and more cool. I mean, is this something that could be translated, or is it just not wow enough at this point?
Who is it, Hinkley? Is that photograph? I mean, it's got a good mid-century feel.
Yeah,
You
I
can definitely mix.
actually
It's nice and simple for somebody who doesn't
Right.
want something over the top, something quiet, something kind of fading away and floating. I think it's great.
Yeah, our next slide you have.
It has its great.
Yes, I like
Yeah,
that,
that's-
actually, I like
love
that.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's
we
almost,
still
it's
get a
retro.
lot of requests, and we're still working a lot with Lucite.
I was just
Well,
gonna
it's
bring
been
that
so
up.
hot
We've
again, it's
seen
back.
that, so
I mean,
I love
yeah.
it.
We were all,
It's-
I was so sick of it. I mean, I've cycled through it
Right.
already. So, my young designers like, oh, it's so cool.
Is this lucite or is it glass?
It's
No, this is glass.
Oh, well.
So you could almost,
Starfire or is it regular? Is
It
it
must be
green or
Starfire.
Starfire? Because it's photographed like Starfire.
It's not, there's no green.
Yeah.
And I'll just comment on this. This is what we originally saw, and we were like, oh, I have to say, number two seller at market. 1/4-inch glass. What's interesting in its Weathergreen, and look at the curve on the hinges. There's detail, and you guys are good at this. I mean, is that important? We curve those
Yes.
hinges to match the shape of the glass.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Is that key?
Yes.
Because when you're talking about
Yes.
design and detail, and, I mean,
Yes.
is that
Oh,
important? Because we
yes.
spend a lot of time and money on this.
That elevates your pictures.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So, right, but this was a huge hit, a big surprise for all of us.
And what's the finish on it? Option from Florida. You have beautiful fixtures that they'll only choose up north. You're missing this market if you don't have some kind of shiny silver.
How does Florida
I'm not
rate?
even telling that process. If you don't have something in silver, antique silver,
Yeah.
silver leaf,
Last market,
Chrome.
everything was Buckeye.
polished nickel,
Yeah.
you're not gonna hit us. We're not gonna
What's
get
your
us.
presence in the Florida market in terms of, like, comparatively speaking, across the country? What percentage does Hinkley represent from a sales standpoint in Florida?
It's significant.
Is
It
it?
is, it is, and I do the whole east of the Mississippi to Canada to Florida, so Florida is definitely, top ranking, and I have 19 reps, and I would
Oh,
say
wow.
Florida's
Okay.
placing in the top 5, for sure.
Oh, okay.
in spite of the rep.
In spite of
In spite of
in spite of the reps?
I don't know the numbers,
But
but would you say, the rest of the country will sell through the catalog soup to nuts. I think in South Florida, we cherry pick.
They do,
And
but
we
they're-
do volume,
Yeah.
but out of very select.
Okay, that
They
was
do,
what I was-
and they
yeah,
focus more on
wondering.
the higher design and the contemporary.
Yeah.
Because we're very
Okay.
traditional in the East.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still doing the
Right.
bronze
Yeah.
bath.
I mean, what's California doing right now? Are we ahead of California then as
No,
with
it's
these
gotta be
stuff?
the same.
They're more energy stars, more LED.
They're
I
more-
used to live
more
in
energy
California and
stars.
work out of there, so I have very similar, I think.
They're similar?
They can get ornate, they get ornate in California,
Oh,
too,
yeah.
Southern California, so.
All right.
But in the silvers. Well, no, they do both because of the Spanish influence. Well,
They do, in the
Spanish
South they
influence
do,
here.
yes.
Different. You look like a shiny silver guy to me. You selling that antique bronze?
I got a check for you waiting outside.
You must be dying
That's
to sell our
awesome.
bronze.
We wanted to touch on a couple of other categories too before we wrap up on this part, and that,
And I have to say, I'm just gonna throw it out there because you guys want it, but, I mean, in the past, until very recently, you know, when we go through the catalogs for like Hinkley, I'm like, or we're bronze, brown, not for this project.
Bright brass.
So, yeah, yeah. So I'm glad to see you guys getting the clue.
right?
For us, that's.
Just antique, copious notes here.
Right. So discussing our bath category, what I always hear is we just need more bling, we need more exciting bath, which I wholeheartedly agree. This is one of our more contemporary oriented fixtures. We focus on it in our marketing efforts. We included it in a, what we call a style file, in the old presentation.
Can you go back to the previous one?
Yeah, the bath.
I'm curious for anybody else's feedback on this. Anybody have any thoughts or comments?
You wanna hear from the architect?
I'd love for the
Architect, yeah.
It needs to be more timeless. When you look at the piece,
That diffuser is very
right,
Yeah, it's
you-
time specific
I
and it
like-
ages
Right.
it,
I like
and I
the
like
metal
everything
work.
but the diffuser.
Yeah.
right, so if you look at it and you relate to the 40s or 50s or whatever it is, and it could be a positive, it could be a negative. A lot of our clients would look at a new modern homes and they think, I want timeless, but yet I want mid-century modern. So
Yeah.
it's a contradiction right there. So this is
Right.
relating to that, but then when you look at it, you turn 50% of that buyers away, and you may get the other 50%. If it was me, I would take that diffuser, the glass, and make it into a really timeless 2-inch by, thick, one piece of glass, and now you're buying an object of art that works as a fixture versus buying a lamp that is working as a lamp for 5 years and then it's gonna go out of trend in another 5 years.
And that 2-inch thick piece of glass will then push it into the Frederick Raymond collection.
Correct. That would be.
Using this fixture, I could just see this diffuser in just plain clear glass
Right.
with Edison bulbs showing underneath on a
Exactly.
polished backplate.
Right.
The concept is excellent, that diffuser to me kills it.
So would you guys agree, because I always
Party,
say
buddy,
this.
duddy. How did it do at the show? Was it great? It was a hit? I wonder, was it the Midwestern? I could see the Midwestern. I am the Midwesterner. I know that clientele, they would love this, forever, forever.
But and
Right.
that's always to me,
South Florida,
Right.
you know,
Florida.
but
This is
I
what we
think
think.
too, for us, as designers, when you look at that and you say, okay, well, this was like the #1 thing that sold at market.
Who bought it though?
And that's awesome, but sometimes we don't really want what the #1.
Right,
We
right.
need to be different, we need to be going into a different trend as opposed to what's the average consumer do. And I know that sounds a little haughty, but that's why people hire us. Because we're the designer, we're gonna bring in something that is unusual.
I mean, would you go for like Raymond for the premier pieces and perhaps Hinkley for the guest bedrooms and the other? I mean, would you put that in any part of the home, or you wouldn't even consider it because it's not different enough, or it just goes in the wrong direction?
Are you talking about this piece
Or
specifically?
something that's regular. Do you never put any sort of
Oh, no, I
regular?
would never say that, never say never, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
So
that's
it's a-
always-
it's a mix.
Yeah, it's always a mix.
Would you guys agree that if you have the right design, the price point is secondary?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
There is a price point we try and hit, but you know what, they never
The
like
design's
anything
there
in
and
that
it's like,
price
wow.
point.
it's-
Right, exactly.
They always buy out of
They
the price
always
point.
will.
When we show them what's available in the price point, like, they don't have a clue what things cost. So they give you a number and you show them, this is it.
And you laugh.
Yeah, we'll do our best.
No, we don't laugh, you never laugh.
Not in front of their
Right,
face.
yeah.
You know, the presentation is the other piece next to it, but we don't talk about, well, what about this? Well, it doesn't fit the budget. Well, how much is it?
Well, just, if I could just touch on that a little bit. We always think the lighting industry has had like a race to the bottom, where Pfister and American Standard have convinced people that $600 for a bathroom faucet is a reasonable price for a faucet, yet I can't get them to spend $500 on their breakfast chandelier that they see every day, 5 times a day. They use it for a variety of things, but we just don't have that value proposition on the lighting side of things. So it sounds almost from your standpoint, your customers that you're talking to, you have to explain the value proposition to them. And do they get the value of lighting as much as the other parts of the home? And if not, how do you do that?
I think it's a mix. I think there are some more sophisticated clients that definitely get it, and then there are others that just don't really get it, and they're not gonna get it.
It's like a guy looking at shoes and handbags.
Yeah.
I don't understand how that's $3,000.
Right, exactly.
I don't get it.
But, they'll go buy a, turtle bronze statue for
$10,000.
50 grand. It's like the most disgusting thing you've ever seen.
With water coming out of the baby.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, so you do a lot of your education. Like you have to explain
I think
the
that's
value.
part of our job.
And maybe if we have some time at the end, from a marketing standpoint, there's no national company like Kohler that can spend the millions of dollars to brand lighting to get people's perception up to where we think it is, and the importance of lighting that lighting plays in the whole home. So we have to do it sort of, Hinkley's doing their part, Capital's doing our part, Lux is doing their part. And I'd like to hear a little bit more how you are doing your part. So
On
we can,
that point of Lux, it's funny, and I'm not a designer at all, but I was at Salone last month in Milan, and I happened to notice on my own that a huge lighting trend with the floating modular furniture was clustered lighting that floated in the middle of the room. So instead of having an end table at all, the lighting suspended from the ceiling almost all the way to the ground. Very often, I almost saw it in almost every booth. It was really
That's pretty cool.
It's unique,
beautiful.
and it's like
take
sculpture
pictures?
from
Yeah.
the
I
ceiling.
did, yeah, I
Yeah,
did.
that might be
And
interesting
some
to
of them
share
you
with all
couldn't
of us,
take
yeah.
photography, no photographs allowed, but beautiful, like wide, one was wide natural leather bands from the ceiling with floating thick glass with, like you said, the incandescent like bulb in the middle. Very simple and no, side table.
Wow,
That
that
was
sounds pretty
took
cool.
the place
gorgeous,
of it,
and it was
yeah.
everywhere, yeah.
so it's using lighting as almost the
furniture.
furniture.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, furniture, sculpture, I mean.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Beautiful, really,
Cool.
really nice.
Is there anything else on bath that we wanted to cover? I mean, is
More
there anything
linear,
that you-
are you looking for more?
Or long, I mean, is the need, we see that a little bit more too, of just like the extra long.
Yeah, we typically don't do the, over the, is that what you
Outside.
mean? Yeah,
Like the bath
typically we do
bars.
like sconces or hanging fixtures or,
Do you try to do both
oh, yeah,
layers?
yeah,
But
absolutely.
as opposed to over the mirror, you like more 2 on either side, or
For me personally, for my clients, sure,
okay,
yeah.
because the mirror's going all the way up.
Unfortunately, we still have a need for bath bars, because sometimes they figure out through the project that they need a designer, so they've already been working with the builders,
Builders, yeah.
White, and
That was awesome.
And then, this isn't coming together the way I envisioned, and so then we get called in and you
Yeah.
don't get to add in more J boxes, there's
Right.
one right there, so we do.
Yeah.
And then, and speculation with investors, spec homes and whatever sometimes, so we still do use that. More
But it's
often than
not
we
your-
like to, but.
Yeah, it's
Hey,
more forced.
with the spec homes, we're just
Yeah,
happy if the box
I
is
just do
centered.
it when it-
I still think there's a place for it, and especially with my demographic retiring and downsizing, they're going into smaller spaces that we don't have a lot of those opportunities. We kind of have
Right,
to
but
stick
they
with
still want
what's
it to
there.
look, it's beautiful. and
Right,
you have to- yeah,
so
that's
I
something-
do still have to use that opportunity a lot.
I think if you are gonna use it,
the cleaner, better looking, more updated it looks, it's all the better.
That works, that never fails, but
Exactly.
they still do like uniques too,
Mhm.
but it's tricky to do. But there are some people who are doing it really well, so.
Yeah, I mean, we've even taken some of the fixtures and just turned them where they were meant to
Then
be.
they become sconces instead
Yeah,
of.
where
Yeah,
they
we try to do that where we
sconces,
can, because I think
yeah.
that giving that
Just
option is so,
So they,
yeah,
you know, they look, they just express it differently.
right. Outdoor, I think we're known for our
Mhm.
outdoor products, and, you know, that continues to be a stronghold for us. Saturn Collection, which I think has been popular. Down here, we are, going to be offering that, it's our favorite finish.
I knew she was gonna fall backwards.
I have to say though, like, up in our area, we're seeing a big trend with like the new sort of transitional British colonial style house. And a lot of people,
It's got its
we're
place.
still
Yeah,
using
it's
that
got its
type of
place.
finish outside because we're going with darker rooms,
Mm.
like a cream palette on the outside with dark shutters. So that is.
Or with everything going white now, that is the contrast.
Exactly.
That does work.
Exactly.
I mean, that one does
Yeah,
work.
for exterior, for us, it works a little bit better.
I don't know how, you know, I really hope you guys can be honest with me. I have not used as much of your outdoor fixtures as maybe some of the other designers here. I always have an issue with outdoor finishes, because if you wanna test the finish out exteriorly, bring it to Florida. And so many of my clients are on the water, and I'm just, unless I know something's tried and true, I'm really nervous to spec it, because I don't want to hear in 9 months this thing is pitting and, you know, corroding and whatever. So is Hinkley known for its exterior
Yes, the wrap down
durability in
proven is
Florida?
well, what you're talking about, any of the stainless steel, so the
So it's
aluminum
not marine
fixtures.
grade steel, but your stainless steel that you
Stainless steel,
use?
so yeah, we went through a huge development process, which actually, being honest, failed the first round.
Yeah,
Um,
because that was my
It
experience
failed
with
horribly
Hinkley before.
when
The powder coating,
well, this is a
Fluffing
true
off.
stainless steel, so, the first round, the research wasn't done correctly, it wasn't passed by, it was the wrong vendor. The research was done, the product was pulled off the market and reintroduced, in this new stainless steel, which I have sold boatloads of for the past, I guess it came out like 3 years ago now, the revamp, no issues whatsoever. So anything.
but no, I will consider it now, I will
Anything
start looking
stainless
at it.
steel,
Yeah.
anything
Yeah.
solid brass.
I need the successful one too.
But- I
But we
think
didn't hear
there's, I
how
think
those
there's
issues
an
in
incredible
Florida and
opportunity
then,
in the Florida
partnership
market for those
off the
type of
water
fixtures.
it's simple.
Because we really have,
Right.
and you
So
know,
we were gonna
we are
partner
so
here.
limited to what's gonna hold up on the water.
Yep,
And typically, we just go into it saying, hey, you'll maybe get a couple years out of this,
Yeah.
and you'll be replacing
that's what we
these.
tell them, yeah.
What's the
Because
warranty on the
choices
stainless?
are
Especially if they force us to go budget,
Still, yeah.
Right.
So you're-
you know,
Right.
But we're
if this is
Hinkley,
it,
goes
we spend
back
all the money on the
to-
inside, there's very little left on the outside.
I don't know how that works.
Just let me, right now, even though he's, and we've had good success, we haven't had any returns on the stainless, there's only a 1-year
Lately,
warranty.
in the past 3
Yeah.
weeks.
But we have, if it's good enough, at least on the retail selling floor, the warranty is important. And if it's good enough to have a 5-year warranty, put a 5-year warranty on it. You're probably gonna stand up behind the product if it fails after 1.5 years or 2 years anyway, because that's what you guys do. Make your guarantee as strong as possible and let it ride, would be my opinion from the retail standpoint. And it sounds like that might help our designers also as you spec the product, to say, this is gonna hold up, they got a 5-year warranty on it. That means something.
Yeah, if they're gonna spend $1,000 on a fixture, a single piece, and then I'm telling them it's gonna last 2.5 years, they're not gonna do it, unless it's an amazing design, and that's not usually the case.
And having a 5-year warranty from a company that's been around 92 years is meaningful compared to some no-name brands whose warranty might expire after the company does. So I think that's something
Good to
So
know.
the difference between 1 and 5 years is reassurance. Right.
complete.
Right.
Yeah, she said.
And we take care of it
Especially
anyway,
here,
so.
especially in Florida.
Yeah, because some of these homes that we're working on, oh my goodness, how many fixtures outside?
Oh.
25,
Yeah.
30 fixtures, I mean, it's huge.
Mhm.
That's a huge lighting package.
Yep.
It's so funny, when we worked on one of those homes and like someone in customer service was like, well, is this a commercial project? Like, no, it's a house.
Yeah, and I will spec commercial exterior lighting a lot of times on these residences because I just don't want the fail. I just don't
Right.
want that oxidation,
Mhm.
pitting, any of that stuff.
In respect of everybody's time, you know, if somebody has to leave, we won't be offended. I know we're going a little past the 1:30 mark, but we did get started a little late. So if everybody's okay to go a little longer, again, if you have to run out, everybody do what they gotta do. But do we have a few more?
We do, yeah, we have a few more.
We have to run, we have an installation at 2.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming in.
Yes, thanks for
You need to borrow a car?
Thank
you.
That's for Laura.
Okay.
It's like that winter, it's like the
It might be that winter, yeah.
Cause it's like a yellowy silver,
Mhm.
yeah.
LED, we just wanted to talk about growth opportunities there. This is one of our LED chandeliers, the Impulse collection. Polished gold, white.
Awesome.
Right.
LED is huge for us, they always want us to first see if we can do LED, and then if we can't find something, then unfortunately, we have to go to more conventional means, but everybody's
But they
on
go
board with
first to
LED, everybody asks
Why?
for it. They think their electric bill is gonna be way lower.
Okay, so it's electric. It has nothing to do with the smaller light source, but it's all energy
All about
efficiency.
money, yeah,
Um,
energy efficiency,
Yeah,
and green, they
maintenance.
feel it's greener, and they wanna do their part.
How about changing the bulb? Does that mean anything?
Oh,
Well,
yeah, they
that's
don't wanna
usually how
change
we
the
sell
bulbs,
it,
yeah.
because the price point's typically higher.
Right.
Right. On the recessed, certainly, you know, it's 30-foot ceiling, 3 are gonna burn out, you're never gonna change them.
Right.
Rather have them burn out in
They love
30
that,
years
yeah.
than 30
Yeah.
months. Okay.
And the reality is that they're really not the ones changing the bulbs.
No.
So, once you get past that, it's like,
So,
Okay,
but so
Well,
you're,
I have a facilities manager that comes out and does that for them, they have a handyman who comes out.
but they're, from their standpoint, it's still energy efficiency. That's the number one reason they're asked for LED.
Lower electric bill.
Lower, yeah, okay.
Potentially lower electric bills while they'll ask for it.
well, and I have had clients
Mine.
that just wanna be more of on the cutting edge, like
Mhm.
what's happening in the
current,
future,
yeah.
future, where are the trends, where are things going, and we wanna be on board with that.
They want to be able to say
What's the
that
newest
they have
and the
an
latest and
idea.
greatest.
Exactly.
Exactly,
Yep.
exactly.
That's wonderful. I mean, from
And
a
with the
green
codes,
standpoint,
with
it's
the
great.
building codes in closets especially,
Mhm.
you know, you have to be 18 inches away, you know, it has to be a covered bulb, all that kind of stuff. The LEDs are wonderful.
Yeah. No, it's a great win-win-win for the
No more
environment,
fire
for the
hazards.
homeowner, for the designers, because it's opening up some new avenues of opportunity there, because you can do different things with lower voltages. It's great. Okay,
And
cool.
in Florida, the heating and
So-
AC, energy.
I have a quick question on LED, which came up, you guys, it came up in discussion the other day. So, we normally say the average light fixtures change, what, every 7 years, right?
We say that,
We say
yes.
that, we don't know if it's true or not, but that's what we say.
That's why we like designers.
So a lot of times, you know, people, the selling point for a lot of people with the LED fixtures is that you never have to change this fixture. But would you say that still, as a design element, it would change regardless of whether or not it's still functional?
Every 7 years?
Not every 7 years, but every, whenever.
I think it really depends, I think it depends on the design, I mean, I always try to do stuff that's more timeless
That's right.
and has longevity, so.
But they're not changing the fixture when the bulbs
Yeah.
burn out. I mean,
No,
or
I was
not.
just saying in general,
No.
like, how often are they redecorating, or,
But do you
I
think,
think that just kind of client to client.
Only because I've heard the sales
Yeah.
talk
Some
of,
people,
well,
like,
you
that's
will
their
never have to
life.
change this fixture again.
Do they wanna,
okay, I guess I'm just seeing a disconnect, that the light source isn't burning out versus an incandescent. I just don't, I see the disconnect with the decorating decision for it. You know, the recessed, I get it, but they're not changing that anyway. But it's interesting that it might be, on the retail side, the retail salesperson is almost
Right.
concerned that they're never gonna see this customer again because it's an LED fixture.
Exactly,
Correct.
exactly.
oh, yeah.
Okay,
I see what you're saying.
I'll work on my, I'll work on my education of my
What's our
sales force.
resale
On the
opportunity
retail, you mean.
if
not
I'm selling a
specific,
fixture?
yeah, no.
And and it lasts for 1,000 years.
Oh.
That's the question.
It
But I
doesn't,
think tastes change.
Tastes
You know,
change.
People evolve and situations evolve, so
Yeah.
you know,
I mean,
that's
for,
sort of
as
hard
for
to
me,
predict.
like that is, I hear that bantered around,
That's
and I
right.
think
This is correct.
It's-
it's a
it-
horrible thing to promote as a lighting,
Right.
as lighting people, you know?
Right.
yeah.
I mean, I don't think that they're gonna change the lighting as often as toss pillows, but
Yeah.
I don't want them to, I want them to think that they can change it and get a
Right.
new look.
Sure.
And I think
Exactly.
the industry, you know, and I'm from Cleveland and we do the same thing, like beat up our own city, like why would we beat up this, you know? We wanna make sure that we're always promoting the best, you know,
Mhm.
version of ourselves and updating if you wanna updating, and lighting is part of that. It
Right.
can totally change the look of the space, and if you just do a few things, and lighting can be one of them, you know.
That's one of the
It's an
first
easy-
things
it's
that
truly an
I
easy
will do,
upgrade.
to do a facelift in somebody's home, or change all the lights.
Especially if somebody's getting ready to sell, just to freshen up,
Right,
you know, like I said, we'll even take the picture down and refinish it
right.
just because it's a bronze finish or something, it's really dating the
Yeah,
ways.
bronze.
But back to what you were saying about the faucet for 600, but not the light fixture, when they buy these fixtures, they think they're
25 years.
gonna
They're-
pretty much die with them.
Yeah.
And
Well,
But
it's-
that's
They
actually a
spent
really good
$9,000 on a
analogy.
fixture, you know, but if it goes out of style, if it's not a unique sculptural looking piece, if it's,
But I think as a light, like,
but
the
what you're saying,
industry
taste
can do a
change,
better
and
job
as
of
a taste
just
change, then they
promoting that as
will.
something that can be changed out and update your home.
Just on a content piece there, you mentioned that on a refresh, whether it's for a resale or whatever, if you have a project like that, I would love to be involved, because the before and after pictures, we don't have really almost any of a before project and after. And it would make a great story for us to write about, and especially if you're doing it, you know, for a resale, and not that it has to be on a budget, we like a nice big budget, but it would be a great story opportunity we love to explore. Next time.
There's so many remodels right now, that we can definitely do for you. You know, you buy it and you're just.
Right, and flipping
Show
it.
you what it looked like before.
Yeah.
And here's the icky picture we took. Here's the beautiful one, we bought it half the lighting.
Love to see it. Love to see it happen.
Frederick Raymond.
Okay.
So new silhouettes, what are we missing? This maybe your gut reaction to some.
In the line?
I know this has a charge nickel option.
Come on, Beth, what are they missing?
This is an awesome fixture, I love it, mid-century
This is
scale.
a
How's the
sneak peek
architect feel with
actually
the
to
curved
June,
corners?
so this
I like
is, this is brand new, it'll
Stunning.
debut at market
You
in
need a
June,
shiny
so.
silver.
There's a lot of fun.
Well, if it's formal at June, then
lot of
we'll.
Is this a matte black, is this a steel, what is this?
The black is, I don't wanna say the words.
It's not brown though.
No,
It's
no,
like an
it's
iron
more
finish.
black.
Yes,
Yeah,
like
like the
a
hair
dark
black.
pewtery black.
I mean, but for example, like our Fulton collection, the one that you loved with the
Art
we,
installation.
we introduced it in these two finishes to begin in January, and now for June, we're doing a polished nickel version of it. So, I mean, we can respond.
This is exactly what I'm talking about. I have so many clients that would love this fixture, but it's all white, they want it to disappear, they want chrome or nickel,
Mhm.
and we can't do it. Or I'll take it down and I wouldn't replay that probably.
No.
It's too much, I would paint it white.
Which isn't as nice
But
as a
yeah.
shiny chrome.
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys have awesome silhouettes, you have awesome bones, you have awesome frameworks, but the finish that you've been missing all along is the silver tone. That's been our biggest thing. And your beautiful things that you're showing again, like here it is, it's just in that dark finish.
So should we?
You must die every quarter.
I mean,
Yes,
we
we
introduced
introduced
as new finishes, so.
Right.
We introduced
Are
a
you-
finish, should we do two finishes at an introduction?
Are you familiar with, visual comfort?
First time?
Absolutely, absolutely.
And you can get every one of their light fixtures in 4 different options.
I mean, your competitors, they always offer multiple finishes.
Anti-glass.
That's what I've been seeing at High Points in Vegas.
It's your slide, you're up.
Okay, copper is one of the new colors.
Oh, yeah, that's
It's
great.
your slide.
Is copper?
Yeah,
that's
Rose
rose
gold is,
Well, yes.
yeah, but.
The copper
Rose
makes it
gold.
rose.
I've always liked your copper finish. It was always my favorite finish in your showroom, and we always brought it in because I said, I want to bring that in. And never sold.
No, it's
Never
not
sold
sell.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
And this
But-
is really bright, so this doesn't come off as rose gold, it comes off as
Well, this
rose.
is probably not a good.
It comes off as copper to me, and that's great. If that were the silver.
Put any more stars on
Awesome.
that.
The copper is a tough sell. It happens to be very trending right now.
Is it?
Right now, probably trend for a year or two, and then it'll be
It's
out.
my
there, I
time.
think, is my
It's
forecast.
really, finally.
It's a very small demographic who will go for that finish. It's not lasting.
Redhead.
It's not timeless at all.
Yeah, it's very
Well, even
fifties,
just
retro,
like-
Mad Men,
Yep.
and the last episode is this Sunday.
And
then you're done, you're
That
done.
would hang- Oh, I know.
We
Oh,
got it,
you
we
did
got
that.
it.
It's there.
Woohoo!
And white.
You did it. Hey.
Kim and I noticed at the Maison show yesterday, finished that word, for lack of a better, I don't know exactly what it was called, we're calling it more of a, did we say,
Like a smoky
chrome.
Mhm.
It was shiny, but with very sort of deep, dark undertone, like
Like all-
I
Yeah.
like
Like look left side.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
To me, that's
It's big again, it's all
timeless.
cycling back, yes.
Well, and taupes are really big right now, so I can see where that could
Well, and the
go
mixing
into
of the
that.
taupes and the grays.
Exactly,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Wait, do you have to sneak out?
I think that's less of a demographic, I don't know what your.
Thank you so much.
experience has
The
been.
architect is leaving.
Oh, no!
Sorry, I would love to stay.
Bye, we.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. That's for you.
It's you, but he's been in
In
the
my
meeting.
opinion, it's hot right now and trending, but, and Europe is, you know, they're all over the place, they'll do anything, right? But I don't see the market as big as a shiny silver.
I
I
would
think
agree
that
with
has to be a staple,
Yeah.
and that, there's definitely an opportunity for it,
Yeah.
it's pretty.
I would agree with that.
This is so much fun, but I have to go.
Keep talking all day.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank
for coming.
you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. A commercial.
Oh, yeah.
You're gonna get a follow-up email with contact.
Yes, please. Yeah, and I love a couple ideas that you said earlier.
So just
about,
so, rounded and
collaborate.
sharp corners.
Yeah, there you go. See, we do them all.
I was gonna go after this.
I'm sorry, what would you say?
We're gonna collaborate on a couple of things
Good.
about projects.
Looking forward to it.
This is good, because I've always loved your mind.
Hey, that looks like your room over here, Mike.
Oh, yeah.
So just sort of an open conversation on trends, it doesn't even have to relate directly to what we do, but what you're, anything fun that you're seeing.
You got it all right there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Except the quartz, more the, what do I wanna say?
What?
It's not shining like that, it's the gemstones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the natural
Yeah, like the
stones
rose
as well.
quartz.
And some of
Yeah,
that,
rose quartz and that type of
The
thing.
cloudier, the
Mhm.
cloudy,
I mean,
yeah, the semi-precious stones.
Semi-precious, yeah.
small,
And the
big,
eggs.
what about scale for those stones? Like,
Large.
Fine Art,
Large.
remember
Large.
Fine Art came with a series called Encased Gems? And
Is that with the agates?
they were
No, they
big
were
mama crystals.
Like
And,
Swarovski crystals, but large size.
and
Yeah.
we fell in love with it, brought it in, and it just did not
But
do.
they did a lot of the colored
There were lots of
stone
funky colors.
colors.
So,
Yeah, I would say
Clear,
muted,
white,
very, yeah,
so-
right,
so not too many colors in the crystals.
yeah. Really
Just-
more the whites.
And also, yeah, the white's the no-brainer, but more uniform,
Right.
pick a color, but then you know, Fine Art did a lot of multicolors.
Right, they had some
And that's
purples
what
and
made it
ambers and-
tricky.
and-
Yeah.
Today's market wants it simplified.
Okay.
Only the purples, only the reds, only the greens,
Okay.
and the teal you see that, teal is huge, so. Which is that, I think it's called the London topaz, I think. it
London
is.
blue topaz.
Yeah.
In terms of crystal, the chunkier,
Well,
or
just that natural organic, and such a great juxtaposition next to something smooth and shiny and mid-century is an organic chunk of something, just that foil.
Did
is
you
really
have one
appealing.
fixture in the Raymond collection that had something like that? I thought I saw a picture of one that
Oh,
had.
the Mercado maybe, with the amber.
Yeah, it was
on
hard.
the bottom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but that, we don't have anything yet. It's sort of chunkies, but.
The selenite's also nice to work with. long linear white crystal, natural crystal. The clients will pay for it, you know, and once you tell them it's natural crystal, they're like, oh my gosh. And not even from a spiritual woo-woo kind of thing. Just like, you know, it's
Well,
just
they're
like
using
jewelry,
it,
it's
they're
real
using it
jewelry.
as their countertops.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
you know, they see the value, they see that it's unique.
Because it is so expensive. The rock crystal.
it's
You don't, I
expensive.
mean, when you say natural crystal, you're talking about like a rock crystal.
Yeah, like rock
Do
crystal.
you guys use that at all? I don't remember seeing that much in your line at all.
No, they don't.
It's, I mean, Schaumbeck, when it just raises the price of the fixture double, triple.
It's the most expensive crystal option.
But people, their customers are paying for it. So to have it as an option is a possibility. Okay, great. Or even small ones, if they had small
Our clients are
ones.
the ones that read Lux Magazine, so Lux
Right.
Magazine is showing
Right.
that, and that's where they're getting their
Do you need,
ideas from.
I mean, obviously, the smaller the crystal, the less expensive it is. If you had them in those gem-sized stones and you told them it was natural crystal, that would still play.
Yeah,
in
and
a
they don't
smaller
all
size.
have to be big,
Okay.
but, I mean, we need another 2 hours for that.
Yeah.
I'll walk you through it.
I need, if you hold my hand, I need, slowly.
Yeah, and I think you guys have, your imagination is, I love the, I don't know what that chain is, snake chain down there in the bottom, mixed with that, I think the different chains, the different links too, if you're gonna show a chain suspending it,
We've talked about that.
Make it
then different
interesting.
links,
Yeah.
not the links
Please
that you
make
can
it a
go
full
to
chain
Home
at least,
Depot
Right.
and
Right.
buy for extension.
So just takes it
Just
down.
make it unique.
Same thing with the
you know?
canopy?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes, same thing with the canopy, yeah, we
Just
will
take
actually
the
go
narrow
and
and
buy different canopies, because the canopies
And the
are
down rods
so.
as well.
Everything can have
Some of the
detail.
new down rods that different companies have
So
come out
Yeah,
with.
it's either-
and finish
Fabulous.
off with a square rather
If you're gonna
than-
see
Right.
it, make it pretty, or
Right.
make it disappear.
Make it
Exactly.
unique or
Exactly.
interesting, right, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good points.
Stand out
Like
or
you
go
did
away.
the curved hinges
I like
on that
that.
glass piece.
If I
It's
see it,
that
you better be
same
pretty.
thought process, yeah, like
But
when
you know
somebody
what?
makes
It's
a
like-
bracelet, they make
In the
links
retail market,
inter-
they've taken jewelry to a
interclasping so
totally
that the
different level.
bracelet is
So they
continuous,
put
you don't
jewelry on
see
your
where
body,
it's
now they
going.
take shoes and they
So
put
that
jewelry on your feet,
concept,
and now they're putting jewelry
when
on your
you're
seals.
finishing
So
off,
it's
you
just
have to make
it's
it
very
really
jewelry
something into
market right now.
Yes, it's a really
It's
good
the
point.
upgraded the dazzle machine.
And that's what will separate,
Right.
something that is so similar
Exactly.
body, but the fact that the chain is different,
Yeah.
where it's got a square,
You guys are great.
I
connecting
think that's
references.
just, speaking very frankly, for Hinkley, like, that's just an extra cost that they're probably not willing
Right.
to
Right.
invest in.
And maybe they knew it and they just said no, but they maybe they never thought about it. Maybe they, I think you guys always have thought about it before, yeah.
Yeah, we push that all the time, because
Those
the
are the
details that we
details that
never
we-
notice,
right.
that,
Canopies,
different shapes, but, yeah, so we'll get there, we'll keep, but now that we have your backup.
And it's on video.
Well,
All right.
I need to
Yeah, that's
run.
it.
Thank you so
Uh,
much.
thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, this was excellent.
We just so appreciate your, I know you didn't tell us your real opinions, so, I will get together again.
Shy, wallflower.
Wallflower. No,
I always
it-
want to be politically correct.
It's, no, we much prefer this kind of conversation where we can get some things of substance
Yes.
for them to bring to
Thank
you. So we really appreciate it. For 1 minute, from a retail standpoint,
I do.
what could capital lighting do more for you designers to service you guys? If you have some high level thoughts or.
For capital,
Yeah,
I'm sorry?
You mean in terms of,
I would love if you guys
Service.
could cut us back a check.
okay.
yeah,
That
That would
would
be awesome.
save, oh my God, the shenanigans we have to go through, with double invoices and this and that, let me tell you.
and maybe give us more of a break.
We've all had to
Oh,
reinvent
wait,
ourselves.
don't want to, because this is important.
It is a.
How, we
We've all
don't
had to
cut.
reinvent ourselves because of the internet, and
Don't-
our clients shop us.
I understand,
So before we present a price, we have to shop you
right?
to shop us, And sometimes, I mean, if you guys could cut us back a check, we go in and you guys just do that internal bookkeeping for us and
But
just.
we do
Then
have
my
that, we
credit
do
card,
have that
your
opportunity.
credit card, you don't take a check, you do take a check, I mean, you don't take a credit card,
We do that all the time, we cut checks. When your client pays us,
yeah.
we have the ability to cut checks to you guys for
Oh, I
your
was told that you
fee.
did not have.
Where,
that
out of
ability.
Boca?
How do you do
Yeah.
that?
Guys- Through our bookkeeping. We can take care
I
of
was
it.
Go
told
through
in
the
Boca you could not
salesperson
do
in
that
your
yet, you were working
store?
on it.
We
I
can
don't
do
think
it.
the
It's
salespeople know
clunky,
that.
it's manual because there's a
All we
variety
wanna
of.
see is both invoices, our client goes in and our salesperson makes sure they pay, you know, they pay
Well, the-
their invoice.
Correct. Well, the issue is, because they're shopping you and they're shopping me, obviously my margin's gone down 4% in the last 2 years, and that 4% is the difference many times between a profit and a loss.
Yeah.
Because, you know how it
Well,
is.
we just had a circumstance, we had to take a hit today, actually.
Yeah,
We got the fixture on the floor marked down,
Right,
and the difference that the client walked in and paid for it at their price versus what we paid you for it.
because it was marked down on
$70
us.
because she saw it on the floor,
But
marked
that
down
was
to
a,
$2.99.
right. It was something we aren't, I mean,
And that's
those are
fine.
gonna happen on
That
things we're getting rid of on the floor.
happens 0.0001%.
Right,
I'm not
but
upset
from,
about that.
from the standpoint that, I thought most designers are going to a design fee,
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
not the way it's happening.
I extend my designer discounts to my clients. That's just how I've done business for
Right.
30 years. So they see every invoice, whether it's from Walmart or Capital Lighting or Dakota. They see every invoice.
And you will
Okay.
do a cost plus.
And then
for-
you build them on a design fee.
I just charge them a design fee. This
Right.
is what my fee is.
And that's how I thought-
I extend all of my discounts to you.
And that's how I thought many of you were going, but I'm hearing
It's
now.
actually going the opposite way.
Yeah,
That
that's
there-
how it used, that's how we used to.
So you're
sell
you're
that.
still looking, I
You
mean,
have to make money with the purchase.
Right.
isn't that
What's that?
most challenging? If you're looking to make your margin on the difference between what you're buying the product for and what you're selling the product for, it's so easy to shop just about everything today. How do-
Here's my theory, and I've talked to a lot of designers about it lately. I said, who came up with this idea that we show you our markup? Where did that come from? Do you go into Publix and they show you what they buy the bread for, and we're marking it up 45% and selling it to you? Do you go buy a suit in Bloomingdale's or Saks? Here's what we paid for it in Asia, and here's what we marked it up and we're selling. Who does that?
Well,
I
before
said,
they
why
could,
do they need to know our markup? I'm just across the board.
right,
And I really don't like to do that cost plus thing anymore. I haven't done it for years.
right.
For years, and it just creates bad blood because, you know, if they knew what we had to mark things up to make a living, to make payroll, I mean,
Right.
I've got, 3 salaries every
But you know what, hon? I work out of my home by myself. So
Right.
that's what the difference is.
No.
I don't have overhead, I don't have employees,
Right.
I don't have workman's compensation. So that's
That's different.
a
No.
huge difference.
And the great thing about design, on the other side of the coin, is you can do it any way you want. You can do it that way, and that way works very well for you. You're successful, you're happy doing it, it's awesome. But, some of these clients that I work with, it's just, these are, and I'm sure you do too, these are like, global business people. And, I got this young whippersnapper kid, early 30s, and he's negotiating with Haiti for their new internal computer system to, from the hurricane, they lost everything. They lost
Right.
the death records, the wedding records, the birth records, and this guy's splitting the atom with me on cost.
Right, but
That's how they work.
but that's our customer too. Capital Lighting's challenged. It's a very challenging retail environment. We're trying to grow, we're trying to add value, but when our
I think your
margins,
prices are great.
but how do we, and she's being honest, give me a better deal, so she's our best customer, and your customers are saying the best thing to you. What can we do to either add value, give you your best price, because there still needs to be margin if we want showrooms to be here, going forward.
I
Showrooms
think
are-
your pricing is fine. I don't have any issues with your pricing. I can make a living off of your pricing. So when you asked, I just threw it out there.
No, but
If you could cut a check back to us rather than us having to do it all, that would be great for us. But you don't have a call for that much to do it based
No,
on
we
what
do.
you said.
We do,
so-
we cut checks to designers. We absolutely do it. I'm not the finance guy, I'm the marketing guy. So I will find out for you and say, why aren't we working this way with you? But it's a manual process.
I know it's a tricky bookkeeping issue too,
But,
so.
but I'm hearing from you that the designer, the way I know you're not, but the way you were and I guess it was Jackie, were working is the margin on the pieces that you're selling. So if it's $1,000 piece, you want them, and it's on my floor for $1,000. It's a Hinkley $1,000 chandelier. That's the tag. You look it up online. It's $1,000 on the website. It's $1,000, from Lamps Plus and every other website out there. It's $1,000 on my floor. They come in very often. If they're your customer, you don't even bring them into the store, right? Many times the customer doesn't come with you to the store. You're making the lighting selections.
I bring my customers in all the
If
time.
I'm buying from you, most of my customers
They're gonna come?
go into the
I've
floor,
heard that
and
too,
they
that
buy
most
what you
designers
have on the
bring.
floor, it drives me nuts.
Okay, because it's something everybody else has seen and might be able to.
No, they wanna see it.
They
touch
wanna
it,
see
feel
it, touch it,
they know
feel it, yeah.
Exactly what they're
Yeah,
getting, there's
right.
no
Well,
surprise.
that's again why showrooms are gonna be around for a little
Forever.
while. But say it's $1,000 piece, all right? And your design discount is 20%. You're saying that if the customer gives me their credit card, we charge them $1,000, you'd be very happy for me to send you a $200 check
That's
and
it.
be done.
Exactly,
Okay, I know we can work that way.
yeah. That'd be awesome, because then I can make the money and then,
Are you,
And it
And
you're
are you-
comfortable.
are you
versus
signed up?
you buying.
Are you signed up as a 1-800 Lighting Pro?
you know what, I don't think we are.
Because if you sign into the Pro website, it looks identical to our consumer website, but your pricing shows up.
Oh.
So you can show them the
Lawrence will
$1,000.
be happy.
You go to 1-800-lighting.com, just a regular site, it shows it as $1,000. You sign into 1-800-Lighting.
But then my salesperson doesn't get his commission, right? If I buy it online?
But you don't,
But,
yes, you do. Your salesperson, if you are registered, if your email address is registered in the system,
Uh-huh.
anything you do online flows through to your salesperson. They get full commission. They get full compensation, whatever it is. They all have
How do we
different.
know? Do I put his name in, or?
Your email address
It is
is
registered.
tied to our system.
Okay.
If it's all,
Right.
everything online is email address driven.
Right.
So if your email address is the same email address that you would have used when we set you up in our showroom and you went
Okay.
online,
Okay.
everything would flow
Awesome.
through to the salesperson. We are working hard to be an omni-channel retailer, if you've heard that term. It just is how people want to shop, whether it's on their phone, whether it's going to be in their home, or whether it's going to be in the showroom, usually a combination of all three. We want to be there and make it as simple as possible. So you should be able to build your shopping cart in the store, go to the person's home, show it to them on the iPad as you're walking around doing a final walkthrough, and hit buy and be done. And have the salesperson be in the loop the whole way. So, hearing these conversations and I wish we had a little more time and a few more people around the table. But next Designers Council, we'll get into it, because I know there's a lot of options for you guys to go buy lighting. We do have, I think, a few unique selling propositions as far as our salespeople and our vendors that we carry, and the strength with our vendors and our ability to stock things that you need in a hurry in our showrooms. But at the end of the day, you are our most important customers. People buy their lighting every 7 years, maybe 10. You guys are constantly in the buy cycle, so I need more. I need more of you, and I need to get a bigger piece of your spend. And any help you can give me to add value so that we could do that would be helpful. I know there's huge jobs, and they're only doing custom, and you're going to go someplace that specializes in custom, and I get that, and that might be the foyer piece. Or wherever, but there's going to be 50 other sockets that need to be filled. Let me get my share. Tell me what I got to do.
I think it's important that we let our audience know about the pro, 1-800.
Yeah,
Same
I didn't even know that
I
existed.
know, and if Heather doesn't know, then we've got a problem. Not a problem, but we.
It is a-
We have
I mean, Lamps
hundreds
Plus,
of.
we're signed up with so many of them, I had no idea. Maybe my
Who's-
staff
so how do
did,
we
I
make
didn't
that
know.
happen?
I don't know. I'll ask them, they may know.
There may be an issue that your salesperson is scared to put you on pro. We've done a lot of work to break down any barriers internally. The internet was the big evil black box taking all of our sales. Now we've done a lot of work to make them understand. I mean, it's their main selling tool. If you come to my showrooms, we have the internet up on our television screens by their desk. But there's still a little bit, if they start buying online, I'm never gonna get them. I'm like, newsflash, they're already buying online.
So
They're already doing it. You didn't introduce them to the internet. Just, if they're gonna go online, have them buy from you. Because they're just gonna do it from somebody else if they don't know how easy it is to do it with us. But 1-800 Lighting Pro. I'm going to be sending an email to everybody talking about 1-800 Lighting Pro and possibly the photography opportunity, which I'd like to talk to you guys
I
about
definitely
too.
want to talk to you about
And
Our elite trade program.
what?
And our elite trade program.
Elite Trade. Yeah, we'll try to do it in one email. I'll
Yeah.
coordinate with you so we don't inundate you with too many emails because I know you get about 1,000 a day. But that,
You probably sent the trade thing in one of the emails, and that's why. I get over 300 a day, seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is just the, I've been giving this to, as they leave, this is just the application for the elite.
Oh, great.
I've got a bag on the other ladies.
Oh, yes, oh, yeah.
But you'll get the whole
I've
package.
been going on and
Still
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So when you do your presentations, are you doing the CEU presentations? Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
Every rep that wants to make a call, we're like, you have a CEU?
Every day, okay.
Because, yeah, now ASAD is making us do that stuff.
like I said, I've got 5 for you.
But I'm
5
doing
easy
them, yeah.
ones.
Done.
Great, that's perfect.
That's fantastic. I'm so happy you
I'd like to get that out there.
Like, and we would only send those out to our pro customers. We wouldn't send the CEU
Yeah.
courses out to the
Right.
consumers.
Right, well,
but,
yeah,
you know, it's not relevant. Awesome. Did you get what you came for? I think, I don't know about you, but maybe finish a couple of suggestions.
Everything in copper.
They don't listen to me.
Crazy.
Bronze.
And I always say that, I'm like,
More bronze, right?
when you get to talk about client feedback, tell them we need more. Somebody called me on the phone or something, and I said it to them, I said, I gotta be honest with you guys, don't have the finishings that we use. They're like, well, listen to that.
Awesome.
Yeah, I would love you to
I was just gonna say,
Yeah.
that would
I
be
walk in,
amazing.
I'm like,
That's another
I-
question
I- I
really
have
quick.
face.
Do you guys ever register anything in your brain about the Dallas market where all of the lighting showrooms are and it's the hub of everything we do with our new releases? I feel like designers have no idea it exists and,
Yeah, I didn't know that was your hub. My sister runs our Dallas office, so I am every couple of years in the World Trade Center there. So I know about it, but I had no idea that that was where everything is. Now that I know that, I'll take more advantage of it.
Yeah, I mean, please, if you do go.
Well, do you open up at any point in the year?
Local people use it for
Do they?
trainings and
Yeah.
things like that.
I mean,
They'll come in.
for me,
We
it's
can
like-
open it
it's like-
But if you go.
It's like Brigadoon.
Yeah.
It's dead for 50 weeks of the year and 2 weeks in June, 1 week in June, 1 week in January.
But it's like Dakota the rest of the year. I mean, it's
I don't think it's open though.
No, it is. No, it is.
Oh, the trade mart is, but most of
trade market
most of the
is, not
showrooms,
their showroom.
most of the lighting
They're
showrooms.
only open for shows.
Why is it not a destination for designers? Like,
we have the,
Why is it not open year round? Because that
No.
building gets year round traffic.
Now, we have a local rep there, so if anybody ever wants to utilize it or do a training
Yeah, we
or
can
things like
set-
that, we can
we can
open it
set
up to
something
anyone
up.
at any time, and we do. There's a couple times that we do that.
there's no selling going.
But there's no promo, there's no convention going on throughout the year. And it's a
Introduce
cost,
new product.
and it's costly to run that showroom in a week, or a few days, just to have the
Sure.
lights on and things like that, so it's gotta be big impact before you.
Well, you're already paying for the year. You might as well try to
No, I'm
advertise it.
saying, but
Also,
open the
you
door
can
for
sell
trainings,
direct.
we would love to bring people down there
Yeah.
for trainings, additional, it gets hard to get them out of the showroom though, right?
No, you got a
I had
beautiful,
trouble there.
spectacular showroom.
Yeah.
Well, if you wanna come with me in next month, you're welcome. To meet all my
I was just
friends.
thinking, if you wanted to do one of these in Dallas, at your showroom, I'm sure that our partners
We
in
would love to do that. Problem is, they're there for 3 days, and they got a tight schedule.
It's crazy.
They will not take the time to do anything extra, because they can't be on their showrooms that long.
And lighting, no, and
But it's a
lighting,
good
there's
out-
huge lighting.
All right.
Time out of Dallas would be the time to do it. Get yourself.
Oh, that's what I meant, it was off time.
Oh, absolutely, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, that's, and it's right there for you to see and touch and feel.
space in Dallas. I mean, it's a little bit more,
What time's your flight? So we're done with the council. Mike Peterson is going to give a quick tour of Sandow Media's national, well, is this your national headquarters or regional headquarters?
National.
It's a national headquarters.
Okay, so let me tell you real
This is
quick.
the national headquarters. Come on in here, come on in here.
So Sandow started 10 years ago by Adam Sandow. And Adam was the, are you actually videoing me?
No, I'm not. This camera's just for show.
Okay, anyway.
You are just so good looking.
20 some years ago was part of the team that started up the Knot. You familiar with the Knot, the wedding planners?
yes.
Okay, he was one of the 3 or 4 principals that built that business. Quite a success story. Essentially left there and 10 years ago started Sandow Media. And Sandow started with New Beauty magazine, the #1 beauty magazine on newsstand in the country right now. And it was only 10 years ago that it started. Right after that, he started to build his company. The second property is Lux, and it started in Denver. And Lux was successful in Denver 9 years ago, and then grew to Texas, multiple locations in Texas and California. We're in 13 markets right now around the country. Now, the key about Sandow, as you'll see as we go around the thing, is that we're not a publishing company. We're a multimedia company. Think of us in terms of retail, in terms of research, a la what we just did. Connecting people from all different aspects of the business is what we like to do. So come around.
Walk this way.
That's close for lunch.
So essentially, this is kind of like our town square. And over the last 5 or 6 years, Adam has been pulling in different companies and different businesses in all kinds of different fields. So what you see here are examples of all the different companies that are part of Sandow. 3 or 4 years ago, we bought the marketing rights to Fred Siegel, boutique operation out of California. We just opened a Fred Siegel store in Tokyo. We have a Fred Siegel store now in Las Vegas as well. So, and that's retail, okay? But it's high-end, it's luxury retail. So that's what I say. We're multimedia. We're certainly not just a publishing company. Behind me, you see Culture and Commerce, which is a marketing firm in New York that markets iconic figures in business. We market Lenny Kravitz, Marcel Rogers, and what's interesting, the way the company thinks is, okay, now how can we mix and match? So we now have Lenny Kravitz designing products for Fred Siegel operation, okay? The big star of our company here in this building is our own Starbucks. Okay? And if you want one for the road, let us know.
That's impressive.
Keep everyone counted.
You don't have a Starbucks in your office? Come on, Jack.
So let me see.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay, so another thing is, I guess 4 or 5 years ago, Adam saw this opportunity to acquire a library. In this case, it's not a library of books, it's a library of materials. And it's called Materials Connection. And inside this prototype, this is a mini Materials Connection, are 700 samples of materials. So in New York, which is where the big operation is, there are 7,500 samples of materials. The Materials Connection is used by product engineers from all over the world, all your international companies. The current Air Jordan shoe from Nike was sourced at Materials Connection. So come on in.
He's like Willy Wonka, isn't he?
Fixing the hat.
Well, I'm trying to do it in 5 minutes.
You're doing a great job.
Charlie had a good ride.
So
This is for you. The silver.
Silver organic.
Organic silver, right.
So what I want to say is that the nice thing about this for our clients here in Florida is that you can come in here at any time. You can bring your client in here, and you can use it as an inspiration center. And if you want, and you're going to New York, we'll set you up in New York for a meeting with all of the 7,000 samples. So it's really quite a candy store for designers and architects. All products are fully vetted and juried by a team of Oxford PhDs in New York. Products are submitted and then tested and approved by that team.
Oxford PhDs.
guess so, that's what they tell me.
All right.
I think that's just a generic term for,
Really smart people?
really, exactly.
I want to
No,
see.
they'll use engineers from all walks of
All walks of
life.
life.
Well, exactly.
Goat?
Top of their field.
So this is the candy store for designers.
So nothing's branded,
No.
and so you simply take the number and say, how do I source this?
Well, their business model is basically like, Michael was saying, is the membership to the library. So everyone from Apple to Nike to BMW, all auto. I work out of the New York office, and Rock and Republic was in there last week, so all apparel. And they'll come in and you can say, I need the most mold resistant, greenest wood, resourceable right now in the world, and they can bring out the best, materials on hand. With your membership, you get an online membership. You can source materials off that, and then they also have small libraries on college campuses. There's one in Michigan.
Okay, where?
I don't know, Detroit area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if it's Detroit, that's not too far from Cleveland.
Right, that's why I mentioned it.
So,